wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
Yo, Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, and hopefully your favorite Armchair GM, CJ. What's going on, Panther Nation? How y'all doing out there today? Okay, if you join me, let me see, last Wednesday, I did a mock draft, and I did my draft strategy. Okay, did my draft strategy. And I put up a slide about the top 30 visits that the Panthers had. Okay. And I think Doug, shout out to What's Up Doug, made this comment. Either it was on the live or it was when I was talking to him later on about doing a mock draft with just the top 30 visits that the Panthers have had. You know, whether that's just the top 30 visits and also including the local visits, which are top 30 visits but don't count against the total number of 30 that they can have because they're local. Okay. So that's what we're going to get into tonight. All right. Let me get into some comments here. Nakari said, I caught a stream on time. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you, Nakari. He said, I feel like we actually have no idea who they're going to take. We don't. That's not a more true statement, Nakari. There's not. We don't know who they're going to take. We can sit here and speculate who we want them to take all the time, all day long, every day. They do not. I mean, we do not know who they're going to take. Not in the least bit. QJ Smith said, Dan, what's going on, QJ? How you doing? Dan Morgan and Dave Canales can't keep any secrets. Them guys tell who they picking like they on first 48. I don't know about that, QJ. I don't know. I don't know. I think they're throwing out a lot of what people want to hear, you know, and we'll see. We'll see. QJ also said, I need Ted Sawyer and Kobe Bryant in Process Blue next weekend. Okay. Now, again, y'all know how I feel. We're not going to get Ted unless we pick him in number 8 or maybe trade back a place or two and pick him. I don't want him as our first pick. Yeah, y'all already know that. Jack Sawyer from Ohio State, I wouldn't mind it, but if we don't do any kind of a trade back and improve our second round position, will he be there at 57? Okay, so we'll see. And Kobe Bryant, that's definitely an option. Definitely an option. The Panthers do need to bolster the cornerback room. I believe. You know, I do believe they need to add, you know, a couple new faces in there, whether it's the draft or some still to be done, you know, finagling going on in free agency. All right. Doug said, good afternoon, Doc. I'm off the road and made it safely. Just glad I made it to see the live. Hey, glad you made it safe, Doug. Glad you made it safe. Thank you for joining, big dog. Jack Sawyer from Ohio State. Ohio State, the edge rusher from Ohio State. What's going on, Earl? How you doing, big dog? Okay. All right. And before we get going, I want to make sure that I give a special shout out to all of the channel members. Okay. Thank y'all. And let me hide this comment. I'm sorry. I thank all y'all for becoming channel members. Again, like last week, I thank Mr. Hunky Dory for his 30 gifted memberships. I keep saying gifted subs, but gifted memberships. I appreciate everybody. I hope y'all will take these memberships, and I hope I can do enough to win y'all favor to continue to be members of Armchair GM CJ. And like I said again, thank you for everybody who is currently a member. I thank you. Okay. All right. I also want to shout out on last week's live. I did a giveaway, you know, for one of these right here, the Carolina Armchair GMC, even though mine doesn't say Carolina, but I added on there. 2-hour winner, 910 all the time. And the thing is, I'm from the 910, and I went down there this weekend to see my folks. And just so happens when I saw the address, I was like, cool. Called him. Hey, can I meet and give you this in person? Bet. And talked to him for a minute. And then that whole time I thought about it afterwards. I said, damn, I ain't asking for a picture. No, nothing. But reached out to him earlier today, asked if he could send me a picture with him in the cup. So Here is 910 all the time with his Carolina's armchair GM CJ Cup. And let me say, you gotta love that face. You know, I gotta give you the applause on that one. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Gave the air horn. Yes. And shout out to my beautiful wife, Nella's Creations, for making that cup. Okay. And again, you know, shoot, if y'all want one, holla at your boy, okay? But shout out to 910 all the time for winning the giveaway last week. And he got a Carolina's Armchair GM tumbler. Okay. I'm getting into some more comments here. Let me see. Stephen Belt, what's going on? Good evening to you, sir. T. Thomas said Kobe Bryant overrated. I hear you. QJ Smith said I need Cam Scatterboo, aka Vanilla Lynch, too. I have never heard him called Vanilla Lynch. Nicari said I have a theory, and I think most Panther fans would be livid. Okay, well, I'm gonna drop the link here in a minute if you want to come up and give us your theory. Or anybody want to come up and join us, and I'm gonna drop the link here in a minute. Nels Grace says she love it. All right. T Thompson W. Gotcha. How am I slacking, Doug? Tell me what I missed, man. Oh, okay. I got you. Somebody I didn't take the picture. Yes, I didn't ask for the picture. Well, I mean, I got up there and you know, we were just talking and talking and talking. And then, like I said, walked away and forgot the picture. But yeah. Q said Billy Bob Thornton in the building. Hey, let me tell you, I was just having fun and engaging with one of my channel viewers, and it just slipped my mind. You know, but he was nice enough to send me a picture. But yeah, I got you. I got to be more diligent next time. All right, but I appreciate y'all though. Okay, so let me go ahead and drop the link in the chat here if anybody wants to join. Okay. But before we get into the mock draft with just the top 30 visit, the players that had top 30 visits and local visits, I wanted to get one more topic out of the way. And it's about Dan Morgan and all the back and forth that we're having about the Panthers, you know, trading back. Okay. So the first topic tonight is going to be, should we stay at number 8 or should we trade back? Okay. And y'all let me know in the chat, if we do trade back, what is let me see, what's the minimum? What's the minimum you want for that number 8 pick? You know, depending on who the team is. Okay. Now I will go ahead and give you my spiel real quick. I watched Dan Morgan's press conference, and they talk like they are prepared for every situation. Okay. And I think it was Vashti from Carolina Blitz to ask him, you know, how many how many situations, you know, y'all prepared for. And Dan was like, we're prepared for a lot of them. Okay. They are happy with taking the player at number 8, but like he kept saying, you don't know what's going to happen above the Panthers. You know, everybody's Jalen Walker this, Jalen Walker that. Okay, Ted McMillan this, Ted McMillan that. What if both of them are gone? Okay, at pick 8. And we have these mock drafts that we've been doing, and they've been pretty consistent, you know, with who the people above them have taken. But you never know. Somebody may fall. Somebody that you know, we didn't expect to fall as far as they did, you know, may fall. That may entice another team to want to jump up and trade with the Panthers. Okay. Somebody that they thought might have been gone beforehand, but feel like, hey, you know what? Maybe we can trade up to 8 instead of having to trade up to, you know, like number 2 or number 3 or something like that. They weren't willing to go that high, but maybe they're willing to go to number 8. Okay. Now, for me personally, the minimum that I would take is going to have to include a second round pick, and it's got to be a pick higher than, now this is for me, I would like it to be higher than 50. Okay, 49 or higher. All right, because again, the Panthers pick at 8, and we don't pick again until 57. So even if we trade back a few spots, and you know, that second round pick, preferably in the 40s. Okay. And I would not like them to trade back no further than say, I think the Colts have number 14 to 15. So, trade back no further back than maybe like 14 to 15. And we at least get, I hope we can keep our second round pick. All right. Keep our second round pick, but add another second round pick, somewhere in the 40s range. That would be that would be my, what I would want for it. Okay. Let me get into some more of the comments here. Let me see. Nikari said he old Doug. That's how he forgot. Yeah. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna disagree with you with that, man. My body tells me that every day. Wow. Okay, Doug. Now I'm gonna get you. When I see it training camp, I'm gonna get you. I'm going to get you. Earl says trade back. For Panthers fans only. Dylan, what's going on, man? How you doing, big dog? Nikari said pick swap and a second plus future day 2 picks. I got you. Dylan said working on your graphic right now, Doug. So I sent it to you when you're done. Got you. Cha one, what's going on? Says salute, CJ. Finally able to catch you live. Hey, I'm glad you're here, brother. Glad you're here. All right. And the card said, I want to fleece somebody though. You know what? It would be nice. It would be nice to sit here as Panther fans and be like, yeah, we got over on such and such. Because I mean, I know everybody and their mama feel like the Bears got over on us with Bryce Young, and you look at it now, they got pick what is it, pick 39 and 41. I think pick 39 would be ours if we still have it. Or if we still had it and then trade to the Bears in the Bryce Young trade. But yeah, I would. It would be nice to be able to say, you know what? Yeah, we definitely got over on them and got the better end of that deal. All right. Now that might be our opinion. You might have a whole nother fan base, or that particular fan base that may think that they got over on us, and they fleeced us. So we'll see. We'll see. Doug says either 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 if we trade back. I'm okay with the teens or early 20s. Okay, gotcha. It said the way CJ got this set up, I thought he was talking to Dan himself. Hey, I wish that was the case. If anybody out there can get a hold of Dan Morgan, tell him the armchair GM would love to be able to sit down and have a little discussion with it. If it ain't but 5 minutes, I greatly appreciate it. But yeah. But I think everything is still on the table. The Dan Morgan stressed a lot that if they got stuck, at number 8, and he kept saying stuck, and they were asking him, what do you mean by stuck? If what they have, on their board doesn't fall the way that they want to, they can put in a scenario, where they trade back. I think it was Joe Person that asked him, like, well, we can assume that y'all are going to pick in the first round. And he was like, yes. Okay. So I think you can safely assume that there won't be any trading, back out of the first round. I don't think nobody assumed that anyway, but I guess he just asked that for the hell of it. All right. But yeah, I wouldn't mind trading back a few picks. Again, and I know I keep saying this, but the Panthers do pick at 8. If we didn't trade back, we wouldn't pick again until 57. There is a lot of talent that will come off the board between that time. Okay. So if we could get up into the 40s, dare I say 30s, all right, I don't think it's the team that's going to trade with us to get us back in the 30s without us having to give up something that we don't want to give up. Okay. But if we can trade back a couple spots, pick swap our first round picks and they give us a second. I know the Bears have 2 second round picks. Seattle also has 2 second round picks, but Seattle's picks are 50 and 56. 50 is better than 57. 56 is only a spot up, but we'll see. If I'm not mistaken, I think Seattle does have 2 second round picks. But yeah, I'm a fan of. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of either one of these. If they stay at 8 and they get somebody who they feel like will help the team, great. If that person is not there and they feel like they can trade back, get some extra picks, but still get, say, plan B. Okay, plan B being another player that they have high on their board, but they don't necessarily have to pick at number 8. Okay, and I was excuse me, I was on Black Cat Panther podcast earlier. Shout out to Q, Goat, Poppin, MDJ, oh God, I can't remember other man, Logic, all the guys over there, and Poppin brought up a good point. Okay. And you heard Dan Morgan in the press conference talk about best player available, best player available, best player available. And Poppin was saying that, you know, is it a good idea to stick with that best player available policy or strategy? Or is it a type of situation where is it best player available, period, or best player available, that fits your scheme? Okay. I put my 2 cents in. I was saying that I hope to God it is the best player available that fits the Carolina Panthers scheme. And we got to talking about, Evero and, Jalen Walker and things like that. Also brought a topic of, Jalen Walker being a, versatile linebacker. He can play off ball, and he can rush the quarterback. Okay. And I think they did ask Dan Morgan something about that as well, about, you get a rookie in here and are you going to, overstress him, having to play multiple positions, Jalen Walker saying rushing the quarterback, and playing the off ball linebacker, things like that. But I think Dan Morgan said, you go ahead, you bring that kid in and you have him go ahead and do and play the position and do the things that he's good at, and have it go that way, And y'all let me know how y'all feel. And I say this, and I think I brought this up with it might have been Doug, and as I can see, me and Doug talk a lot off air here, but um oh goodness, and I lost my train of thought just like that. Okay, all right, I'm sorry, y'all. I do I do apologize. You right in the car. I am old. I'm old as hell. When I say I lost my train of thought just that fast. Okay. But hold on, wait a minute. Hey, Nervax, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. It said problem with trading down is you need a team desperate enough to at least give us a 2 or something. I wouldn't trade down for anything less than a first round swap and additional second round pick. I agree with you 110%. I agree. We are not trading down if we can't pick swap first and get an extra 2. Okay. Now what, like I said, I want it to be in the 40s, but if somebody's in the 50s and is willing to not too far down in the first round, but their second round pick is in the 50s, then we'll see. We'll see. But thank you, Nervash, for the $10 super chat. Will Robinson, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate your tip, Drill Will. Trading back can be helpful if we can get who we want, and if it screws the ain'ts, hashtag bonus. Yes, that would be that would be a bonus if we could do put it to the Saints like that. Yeah, but again, Will, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know, and there's a lady on the other side of this wall here that told me that I'm supposed to have notes, and I do have my notes. I have them sitting here, but I was going off topic. I was going off topic on something that I had thought of about 5 minutes before we went live. I did not write it down, but yes. Let me see. You already in the 50, CJ. Well, yeah, I know. We already in the 50, so hopefully we can get a draft pick up higher than that. But yeah, all right. But yeah, but Dan Morgan, his press conference was interesting, and like I said again, if we trade back, I'm cool with it. If we stay at 8, I'm cool with it. And I just want the Panthers, to be able to pick the best player that will, that will help the franchise. And and I thought you meant that, but I was going to hope and say you meant the pick. No, I'm not in my 50s. I'm 43. Okay, well, I'm 42. I'll be 43 in August. But yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But thank you, Dylan. I appreciate you. Stephen Bell said, I want Walker or Warren at this point. Okay. I ain't gonna lie, man. I know a lot of people want Warren, Tyler Warren, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Doug said, I hope she get on your case. She will. She will, and it's rightfully deserved. Yeah. I'm not gonna argue back at it. I'm just gonna sit there and listen. Yeah, my brain. Well, no, I'm not gonna say that neither. I'm not gonna say that neither. But you know, hey, it's what it is. Papa said CJ grew an afro. I see you. Stay groovy, my brother. Hey, I knew one of y'all was gonna say something about that tonight. My barber is out of town right now, probably with his kids in spring break, just like I'm here at the house with mine. My kids are off. I'm off this week, so yeah. But I knew somebody was gonna say something about that. But yeah, don't worry. I got an appointment on Saturday, everybody. I'm getting it cut off. All right. Nervash again, thank you for another $10 super chat, man. I appreciate you, big dog. Nervash says, I feel like Mike Green and James Pierce Jr. are better than Jalen Walker, but I doubt the Panthers will choose them. A lot of sacks Walker made in college look like hustle plays or coverage sacks. You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up. All right. So now, if the Panthers don't pick Jalen Walker, like you said, these two would be good options because me personally, as I said last week, my number one position of need for the Panthers is edge rusher. Okay. If the Panthers want to go and get another linebacker, later on in the draft, I'm okay with that. But I'm also okay if they don't pick Jalen Walker because you do have some pass rush specialists that you could trade back and pick at number 8. And I wouldn't even count out what's a man named Donovan Ezraku from Boston College being the pick. Like I said, Mike Green could be the pick, James Pierce Jr. Somebody like Ezraku, my man had 16 sacks last year. Okay. Now I know everybody doesn't everybody values production, but the knock on him is he's 6'1", his size. I don't remember if I read about his arm length or anything, but my thing is this, the numbers don't lie. Man played in the ACC. ACC is not like playing in the, what is it, the MAC or anything. But you know what I mean? But 16 sacks. He's a pass rush specialist. He can get to the quarterback. Same thing with Mike Green. Same thing with James Pierce Jr. So there are options if the Panthers do not pick Jalen Walker at number 8. Okay. And like I said, Dan Morgan was telling the press that they are ready for all scenarios if how they see the board falling does not fall that way. And when they get to number 8, they said they'll be ready for all situations. So we'll see. But again, Navesh, thank you for the $10 super chat, man. I greatly appreciate you. Nuscray said, what's up, Doug? Not too much on my old man now. He said, I'm on your side. Wow. Hey, shout out to Will, man. Thank you, Will. He said Will Robinson just became a member. Hey, thank you, man. Hey, welcome to the front office, Will. If anybody didn't know, that is the new name for our membership. I am your armchair GM, and the members are my front office. So I appreciate y'all. And thank you again, Will. I appreciate you. All right. Okay, Dylan. Okay, Barbara been out of town for months. But you know what though? Honestly, this little bit of hair, it's not much. My hair grows extremely slow. Extremely slow. This is probably about, oh God, two, maybe 3 weeks. My hair grows slow. It grows really slow. But thank you, Dylan. Thank you. Panther Boy 803, what's going on with you? How you doing? Joseph Millen says, facts. What's going on, Joseph? Let me see. Doug says at Nervash, James Pierce Jr. would not be a good option. He had a lot of trouble back home. And CLT, why bring him back to the environment he is trying to get away from? I get that, Doug. I get that. But man, everybody can change, everybody can evolve, everybody can grow. All right. I wouldn't rule anything out at this point. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Panther Boy said, I'll take either one, preferably Mike Green for me, though. Gotcha. Wow. Really? Wow. It's tough dealing with the elderly. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm talking to you in a few minutes here. All right. Nervash says, maybe it'll come down to character concerns. We don't know how heavily the Panther staff are weighing those factors with Green and Pierce. This is true. Yeah, I hope you did fall out that chair, Doug. I absolutely hope you did. I hope you did. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on here. All right. Now, y'all saw last week where I had my slide up with the players who have the top 30 visits. Okay. So this week, All right. And also, Doug put me on to Edgar's list here. This is from Edgar Salmingo Jr. on Twitter. If you haven't gone to check them out, follow him, please do. He has his list up here of the Panthers' official visits. Okay. Now, this comprises of the top 30 visits, notable pro day visits, local visits, or reported interest slash other meetings. Okay. And again, this live is going to be about the Panthers we're doing a mock draft with the Panthers with just the top 30 visits. Okay. And I am going to ask y'all this. Now we have the top 30 visits and we have the local visits, which I was going to include both of those. All right. Should I also include players who've had like just a pro day visit? Now you got Princely, let me see. I'm not even gonna try that. Princely you, the edge from Ole Miss. Now he had a pro day visit, but he also had a top 30 visit as well. Somebody like TJ Sanders who has just a pro day visit. Demetrius Knight, Kyle Kennard, and we move on to like say a Ozzie Trapilo from Boston College. You got JJ Pegues from Ole Miss. Let me see. Q Robinson did have a top 30 visit. Somebody like Fadil Diggs or Drew Kendall. Okay. And so these are his list. I had to break it up into in the 3 slides here. Okay. But again, and shout out to Edgar because he has it broken down into, where these players might be picked at. He has the player, the position, the college, the consensus rank. Then he has the top 30 visit, pro day, local, and the reported other visits. So shout out to Edgar for this. There are 33 defensive players, 14 offensive players. And I do think there's one player that might not be on here, Josiah Stewart, the edge from Michigan. And I did make sure I looked this up before I got on live. And Josiah Stewart did have a top 30 visit with the Panthers. All right. Yeah, Dylan. Yeah, Edgar is a great follow, man. Great guy. He participated in our fantasy football league last year as well. So shout out to Edgar. And I reached out to him last minute and asked him, could I use this on here? And he was like, sure, go ahead. So again, thank you, Edgar, man. I appreciate it. Yep, she sure did, Earl. Yeah, shout out to Edgar. All right, say, hey, chat, let's get the ebb. Hey, and yes, if y'all wouldn't mind, please hit that like button, okay? Subscribe to the channel if you're new. All right, y'all catch me on all social media at ArmchairGMCJ. I appreciate the love and support, and thank you for that, Doug. Deontay, what's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome. Okay. But yeah, so these are, the Edgar's chart of all of the visits that the Panthers have had, whether they're top 30 visits they've come to Charlotte, visits at pro days, the local visits or some kind of other meeting here. Okay. So you can see some of the big names in here. You got Ted McMillan, who had a top 30 visit, Jalen Walker, who had a pro day and a local visit. You got Michael Williams on here, no top 30, no pro day, no local visit, but he's under the reported interest / other meeting. Okay. You got Nick Emanwari. And my thing is with him, I don't think he's going to be available to the Panthers, unless there is a trade back. I wouldn't rule out them picking him at number 8, but I don't think they will. Okay, I honestly don't think they will. You got Walter Nolan, the defensive lineman from Ole Miss, and then you got Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College. And then down here, now there are a couple offensive tackles on this list as well. And I always throw this in there because, as I said a few lives ago about Taylor Moton, this is his last year. The Panthers are taking that whole $31 million hit for his contract this season. Doesn't look like, now in the near future, there's going to be any kind of an extension. Don't think they can restructure it anymore. But they said they were fine paying Taylor Moton his whole salary this year. Again, like I said, from my standpoint, is just a fan. That's $12-13 million that they could free up. If they were to extend his contract out a couple years, that's more money they could throw at a player, maybe like a Julian Blackman who came to visit the Panthers and still hasn't signed with a team yet. So we don't know if money was the issue, or not. So let me see. It was that Ariante Ursi came to visit, and the other offensive tackle was Ozzy Trapilo. Okay, but we'll see. All right, and then you got Braden Swinson, Demetrius Knight, Femi Oladejo from UCLA, Jordan Birch, Kyle Bernard, Deion Walker. Like I said, he has it broken down into the third, the fourth round picks, the fifth round picks, and our let me see, we got 3 5th-round picks, yes, and then these for our 7th-round pick and undrafted free agents. Okay, and let me get back into comments here. And Doug said, "Hey, just FYI, Jalen Walker and Michael Williams have their pro day tomorrow at UGA." Oh, okay. Thank you, Doug. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. I ain't gonna lie. I thought they would have had that by now, but hey, appreciate that, Doug. Thank you. Okay, cool. And one more thing, and even though we're going to do a mock draft with just the top 30 visits, this is the slide that I had from last week. This is still my strategy, still what I'm trying to do as far as the position rankings that I have for the Panthers. Like I said, top of that list is edge/outside linebacker. You have safety, wide receiver, cornerback, interior defensive lineman, inside linebacker, tight end, O-line, and running back. Okay. Oh, Doug said it's private pro day. They didn't participate in UGA. Okay, got you. Private pro day. Okay, got you. Panther Boy 803 says, I wouldn't be upset if we don't get Walker at all, as long as we get Mike Green or a cornerback or wide receiver with our first pick. Yeah. And again, and I think the cornerback position is overlooked as well, because, there is the cornerback from Texas. I forgot his first name, Baron, not Baron. I forgot my man's name, but I think it's Barron. And then you have Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan. So I wouldn't just push cornerback off to the side and say that is something that the Panthers are absolutely not going to do in the first round. So we'll see. All right. D Cash, what's going on, D Cash? How you doing? What's up, Austin? No, not Makuba. Makuba is the safety. You know what? Hold on a second. Let me look it up here. Let me look it up. What is my man's name? Hold on one second, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead and oh, it is. Jahade Barron. Okay, yeah, thank y'all. All right, appreciate you. Yeah, Jahade Barron from Texas. So I wouldn't necessarily rule that out as a possibility as well. Okay, but yeah. And again, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Rod Walk, Trey Willis. I appreciate you as well. Thank you. All right, and let me get Dcash comment up here. He says nobody talks about O'Donnell Fortune, cornerback from South Carolina. I like him, and Zach Frazier, who had great production this past season. Okay, I got you. All right, cool beans. Okay. So, and again, and it's crazy because I didn't do my normal spiel about, this being a short live. But yeah, it's probably going to be a short one tonight, but let's go ahead and get into the mock draft. Okay. All right. So again, back on PFF. And like I said, we're going to try and stick with the top 30 visits. What's going on, Rod Walk? How you doing, big dog? Appreciate you for joining me. Thank you. Okay. So let's go ahead and get it started. All right. Now we have Ted McMillan, all right, who was a top 30 pick. Okay. You slide down here. We have Walter Nolan, who was also a top 30 pick. Okay. And then we have, you keep on going down, Donovan Ezraku. And then you get down to, I know I went past him here. Hold on. Or did Jalen Walker go? Oh, there he is, Jalen Walker. Okay, gotcha. All right, I'm going to do something different here. Okay, I'm going to do something different here. Now, the consensus pick has always been Ted McMillan or Jalen Walker. Okay, Now, what I'm going to do here, you see Walter Nolan right here. All right. I am going to draft Walter Nolan. Okay. Now, I know y'all are wondering, well, we got Bobby Brown the third. He's supposed to come in and solidify the offensive line. Okay. Now, just say this scenario, say Bobby Brown third gets hurt. Okay. I want everybody to remember that behind Bobby Brown the third, there is a Mr. Shy Tuttle. All right. Who I do not think is a bad player. I think they have him playing out of position. Okay. I think they have him out of position. But right now, everything I've looked at currently has him as the backup nose tackle. And for me, that is a problem. Okay. That is a problem. All right. Now, okay, we get to number 57. Okay. Now usually here at this pick, I try to look at wide receiver. Now we do have Jalen Noel. Now his rank is 78, so we might be able to hold off on Jalen Noel right now. All right. So my biggest need, other than that defensive interior, Walter Nolan I just took, the highest one is edge rusher. So I'm gonna go back to the edge rushers. Okay. So now we do have Femi Oladejo from UCLA and Josiah Stewart and Kyle Kennard. Okay. So 4 out of these top 5 have had top 30 visits with the Panthers. Actually, 5 out of the top 6. You got Ashton Jalot. I hope I'm saying that right. You got Jordan Birch as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Femi Oladejo right here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to swing back to wide receiver and see if Jalen Noel is still there. Now, mind you, PFF is probably going to hit me upside the head with this one because, there are 3 players that they have ranked higher than Jalen Noel. And I'm sure when we get to the end of this, they're going to be like, hey, dummy, what you doing? We would have took this guy. Okay. So let's go with Jalen Noel, who also had a top 30 visit. All right. Now, now we're at pick 111. All right. And there is a safety that the Panthers had a top 30 visit with, Jonas Sanker. Okay. Now he should be available at pick 114. All right. But he might not. But another person, now I'm always a fan of doubling up on the edge rusher spot. So I'm gonna go back to edge rusher and see what we got. And as has been the case a few times, I was going to try to double up and get Ashton Jalot from Louisville. But as y'all can see right here, the Jets took him a pick before that. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to safety. I'm going to go ahead and get Mr. Sanker here. And I'm going to, again, I'm still going to double up on edge. I'm going to go over here to edge rushers. And I'm going to pick a... Damn, well, I'll be damned. They did it to me again. I was going to get Q Robinson from Alabama, but San Francisco took him. Okay. And I got to bring up my, here. Okay. Now, if we go back and we look at some of the, okay, we are at pick 114. All right, so we got Terrence Ferguson, Ashton Gillette, Quincy Riley, the cornerback out of Louisville. You got RJ Harvey Jr., the running back from UCF. Like I said, we got Jonas Sanker, and you got Ollie Gordon the third. Okay, so let me go down here to... Actually, let me go to all and just kind of scroll down and see exactly who might be here that the Panthers have had a visit here. And the first person to come to is Jarquez Hunter, but I don't want him right now. Let me see here. You know what? This was a whole lot easier the other day when I was doing this, when I was back home chilling with the folks. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and look at this list. You know what? And then we do have, we go back to defensive interior. Now there is JJ Pegues there that did meet with the Panthers, and also Cam Jackson, but we can get Cam Jackson, at a later spot. All right. And let me see. Let me go to tight ends and see if Terrence Ferguson is still there. And he is not. Okay. Let me try offensive tackle. And both of those guys are gone too. So that's Ozzy Trapilo and Ursay. Ursay was a second round pick, and all the things that all these draft simulations that I've done, Ursay is always gone. You have to pick him in the second round. You have to. He does not last past the second round, which he shouldn't. Okay. And let me see here. Let me go back to one of these things that I did and see if I can get okay. All right, so we're probably going to have to go ahead and pick off schedule here. Let me go ahead and look at the cornerbacks, and we do have Quincy Riley. I'm trying to find somebody who I can get up in this range here that is not already gone. Okay, let me know what. Let me go back to running backs then. Um, uh, and I hate to do this, but okay, I'm gonna take Jaquez Hunter here. All right. And I know that pick PFF is gonna be screaming me about that one as well. But hey, okay. Let me see. Now we got second. Let me go in my picks here. So we got Walter Nolan, we got Femi Oladajo, we got Jalen Noel, Jonas Sanker, Jarquez Hunter. Okay. And let's look at some of the other edge rushers that the Panthers have talked to as well. Okay, so no Fidel Diggs. Fidel Diggs is another one that the Panthers have also talked to. And we have 4 picks left. Okay, so we can probably wait a little bit for him. All right, let's go back to cornerback. Go ahead and get Quincy Riley. Okay, Quincy Riley had a oh, you know what? I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot. I'm looking at the thing. I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you, Doug. Thank you. My bad. Okay, so go ahead and pick Quincy Riley here. All right. Now, I know we got so we double no, I'm sorry, we didn't double up on edge yet. We did pick Walter Nolan at number 8. So another defensive interior guy that the Panthers did meet with was Cameron Jackson, the defensive tackle from Florida. Okay. And like I said, I know this doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm trying to go with the players that they brought in, for visits. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna double up on the defensive lineman. I'm also going to go and we're gonna go back to edge. I'm gonna get Fidel Diggs. Okay. And with our last pick, somebody who was on that list down here, okay, is Shamar James, the linebacker from Florida. Okay. So I'm gonna go to linebackers and I'm going to scroll down and draft Shamar James from Florida. And I have to switch my screens again. Thank you. Okay. All right. So now, mind you, this would have looked a lot better if 1 or 2 more players would have worked out the way I wanted to. But this is a mock draft of all of the not all, but the players that have had top 30 visits with the Panthers. And and they got me as a C plus, ranked in the bottom 13% of Panthers drafts. Okay. Now, mind you, now if the Panthers went out and did this, yeah, I think most of Panther Nation would be in the uproar. Okay. So let's go ahead and run it back. All right. Okay. Now, again, for the Ted McMillan fans, okay, just say, like I said, this is not my preferred pick, but just say they got Ted McMillan at number 8. All right. Now we scroll on down to 57. And again, I'm going edge rusher. And what I'm going to do is like I'm going to take Femi Oladeju. All right. I'm going to go back to the edge rushing spot again, and I'm going to grab Josiah Stewart. Okay. So that's me doubling up on the edge rushing position for the Carolina Panthers, which is what I think is their biggest need. All right. Now, if we would go to wide receiver, Jalen Noel is gone. Okay. Jalen Noel is gone. All right. Now we will look at let me see. We are at pick 111. I'm going to go ahead again. And some of these are going to be repeats. A lot of these are going to be repeats. I'm going to go ahead to the safety spot again. and pick Jonas Sanker. I am going to go. Let me see. I'm trying to kind of get something like I did on my some of these mock drafts I've done before. So we got Ted McMillan, you got Femi Oladeju, Josiah Stewart, and you have Jonas Sanker. Okay, so we do have 2 edge rushers. All right. Let's go ahead and go to the cornerback spot. The other cornerback that the Panthers looked at was I think what was his name? Oh, forgive me, y'all. Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson, the cornerback from Oregon. And I promise you, I have tried to search his name on PFF quite a few times and have not been able even to find him on PFF. Okay. So we'll see. All right. Now we are going to go. I'm gonna go back. I think it's still a little bit too high for my man from what you call it. So let's go back to the running back spot. And again, I'm going to go Jaquez Hunter here. All right. So we got 4 more picks. I'm going to go and get us defensive lineman. Cameron Jackson. I'm gonna pick him again from Florida. Let me see. We're going to get the cornerback, Quincy Riley. All right. Another wide receiver that the Panthers did meet with was Jalen Lane, okay, from Virginia Tech. All right, so I'm gonna pick Jalen Lane here. And again, we get down to the last pick, and I'm gonna go ahead and get Shamar James again. Okay. Let me see what PFF gave me for this one. Okay. Now this is a B plus, bottom 35% of Panthers drafts. Okay. They gave me an A plus for McMillan. And the thing is with Jalen Walker, PFF is going to give you an F every time you draft Jalen Walker at number 8. And I guess it's just based on the rankings or whatnot, but they're definitely going to give you F every time. But this draft, again, all of these people are top 30 visits that the Panthers, players that the Panthers have had top 30 visits with. All right, so you got Ted McMillan, you got Femi Oladejo, Josiah Stewart, Jonas Sanker, Jaquez Hunter, Cameron Jackson, Quincy Riley, Jalen Lane, and Shamar James. Okay, now I'm going to run it back one more time because on this one, all right, so I switched it up with the first one, took Walter Nolan at number 8. Second one, took Ted McMillan. All right, now this one, we're going to go ahead and take Jalen Walker. All right, now, as I was saying, if the Panthers do bring in one of the offensive tackles on this list, whether it be Irsay or the other guy, what's the man, Trapilo, okay, you'd have to pick Irsay right now. All right, you might be able to get Trapilo at 74. All right, but let's just say we go ahead and, because I want to pick Jalen Noel on this one, but if I pick Jalen Noel, then my edge rushers are going to drop out of the equation as well. Some of the ones that I want to get. All right. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and, just for the sake, just say the Panthers take Irsay. All right. Just say the Panthers take Irsay. Okay. Now we get to 74. All right. If you go wide receiver, Jalen Noel is still there. We'll take Jalen Noel. All right. Now, okay, so we got linebacker, we got tackle. Just say that they know for some reason that Taylor Moton's future with Panthers is not a future. Just say they know behind the scenes that this is going to be his last season, and maybe this is how they prepare for him for his replacement. Okay, never know. They'll probably wait till next year or something like that. But just throwing this in there. All right. Now, let me see. We go to edge rusher. So we're at 111, 114. All right. And what I'm going to do, okay, so they got me last time. So what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to take Gillette right here, and then I'm going to go back and, yep, it's going to be the same thing. But this time, see, yes, they did the same thing to me again. Femi Oladejo went the pick before me to San Francisco. Okay. But we still got Q Robinson down here. So I'm going to get Q Robinson. All right. And as y'all see how I like to do, I have doubled up on the edge rusher position. We have a wide receiver, we have a tackle, we have a linebacker. Okay. Now that does kind of mess me up because the safety that I usually pick is no longer there. And if I'm not mistaken, the Panthers didn't have any more top 30 visits from safeties. I think Jonas Sanker was the only one. Okay. Now, again, like I said, some of these bottom ones are just going to be repeats. Okay. But let's go to running backs. You know what? This time Jarquez Hunter will probably be a better grade because it's he's ranked 133 and right now I'm at pick 140. All right. So let's go ahead and take him. All right. Then we're going to go and see if Cameron Jackson, he is still there. Like I said, he's going to be repeats. I'm going to take him. I'm going to go back to the cornerbacks and get Quincy Riley. And I'm trying to think if I can find somebody else besides Shamar James to take at the last spot. But everybody that I'm seeing on here is gone, or I can't even search for them on let me see. There was one more offensive tackle, Deontay Gordon, that I don't see on here. Let me see. Defensive lineman. There is another defensive lineman down here, Kevin Pointer. But I can't find him on here as well. So I'm just gonna go with what works here right now, and go ahead and get Shamar James again. And I gotta change my screen. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, again, like I said, they're gonna give you F for Jalen Walker. All right. I'm now bottom 13% of Panthers draft, overall grade of a C plus. Okay. But yeah, like I said, this is just something a little different. You know, like I said, just mixing it up. A draft of nothing but the players who had top 30 visits with the Panthers. Okay. Nothing but players who had top 30 visits with the Panthers. The first one changed it up a bit. I took Walter Nolan at number 8. Okay. Then the second one, I took Ted McMillan. This one, I took Jalen Walker. I also added Mr. Ariante Ursi, the tackle from Minnesota. You know, as a scenario where, like I said, behind the scenes, they know that oh, you know what? I'm sorry, y'all. I got the wrong screen up. There we go. Mock draft, my bad. But as a scenario where they know that Taylor Moton is not coming back. All right. Just say that's the scenario. And we went Jalen Noel, Ashton Gillette, and like I said, I doubled up on edge rushers because that's what I do basically every draft. I always double up on edge rushers. Like I said, I think that's something position that we really need. I did go Jarquez Hunter at halfback, which me personally, I don't think the Panthers are going to take a running back with these picks in the draft. If they do bring in a running back, I think it'll be an undrafted free agent. Okay. And I got Cameron Jackson, Quincy Riley, and Shamar James. All right. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about my top 30 visit mock drafts. Okay. And let me go ahead and catch up on some of the comments. And I know I'm going way back here. Joseph Miller says RJ Mickens from Clemson. He said late. Pyro Master, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's good with you? All right. Let me see. Doug said, ready to see how you do this. Yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle. Doug said he really wants Walter Nolan or Nick Imanwari. I got you. Let me see. Power Master said he liked Nolan at 8, but a lot, but 8 hurts him. Gotcha. Trey Willis says, I love OG Junior. Pause. Okay, gotcha. Doug told me to change my screen. He said, not too bad. Mr. Hunky Dory, what's going on with you? He said he really likes Ursi from Minnesota. Gotcha. Nick E came. Yeah, Nick Emanwar came on a local visit. So I added the local visits in with the top 30 because they don't count towards the top 30, but they're considered a top 30 visit, even though they're local. James Bobo, what's going on? Said Billy Bowman. Okay, Billy Bowman. I got you. I got you. Well, the reason why I didn't get Billy Bowman because Billy Bowman did not have a visit with the Panthers, top 30 visit. All right. Panther Boy said, I think this going to be a good draft for once. Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Miss Hunky Dory said, question CJ, is Jalen Walker dropped in rankings? He is now ranked 24th. I want to say he is because he was higher than that in previous drafts weeks ago. Like I said, this is PFF. They do theirs different than some of the other ones. But yeah, as far as PFF goes, yeah, because at one point I think Jalen Walker was like around number like 12 or 13 if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he has dropped a little bit. Surprised you didn't do a trade down. Well, I'm going to save that for either this weekend or maybe Wednesday night. If we do like one more final mock draft before the actual draft, just to kind of see like, okay, like for real, if I was in charge, like this is the way this is how I would do it. This is how I would go. Okay. Um, Panther Boy says, July is that dude too, CJ. Okay. And I think you told me that on the other live too. I got to go look at some tape of him too. Fayette, what's going on, man? How you doing? He says, I still think that you should have drafted a safety because we need one bad. Yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. And my next couple mock drafts, there will definitely always be a safety in there at some point. Yes. We definitely thin at safety. Panther Boy 803 said, Mr. Uncle Dory, I don't think we should take him in 8. I'll probably trade back for him or Nick in. I got you. Okay. He says he think that may happen. Let me see what Nick E said. We need a trade back. I got you. With a trade back. Got you. Let me see. D Cash says I would be so hurt if Nick, I guess M and War. I got you. He called M&Ms. Well, I mean, now mind you, like I said, I don't know if he would be number 8 per se, but I do think that if the Panthers trade back, I don't know how far they trade back, but he could be an option. Okay, I don't think they're gonna pick him in 8. Like I said, that's just my thought. But just say if the Panthers, now I say I don't want the Panthers to go back no more than about 15, but just say the Panthers go back, 16 or 17, and he's still there, and some of the other edge rushing targets that they had may have come off the board. Like you said, safety is a big need. I can see that maybe being the pick. You never know. Yep. Steven Bell said, draft night, I'm turning up. Hey, well, look, I hope y'all come over and turn up with me because I'm gonna go live during the draft. The first round, I'm gonna try to go live for most of the draft period. Okay. But definitely the first round. And we'll see, what's what. I made Well, I kind of thought about doing maybe like an unlisted live, and then that way I can broadcast the actual draft, and put up, and then we can all be like on the same accord as to what we see when somebody gets drafted or whatnot. Because you can't just, I mean, you can broadcast the drafts, but stuff like that. But YouTube will hit you with a big copyright on that one. But please believe it. Yes, yeah. Oh God, he said, I'm gonna be so hurt if Nick Scott starts. Man, no. You ain't got to worry about that pain, dog. That's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. That's not gonna happen. If Nick Scott, if you just so happen to be watching this, it's nothing against you personally, but no. Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm. Ms. Uncle Doris said there is a forest fire of smoke going around with the number 8 pick. 5,000 opinions from all sources. Yeah. And that's what I said. We don't know what the Panthers are thinking. Okay. We got hints. We got our own opinions. We got things of that nature, but we do not know. Who was it? A CD from Two Growls, One Roar, asked about Ted McMillan. Like, do you think that he is a legit, is there a legit chance of the Panthers picking him, at 8? And I said, or she did just dismiss it. And I was like, no, you shouldn't. Because the thing is, we don't know. Ted McMillan might be plan A for the Panthers. We're all sitting here, me personally, we love him to death. He'd be a good wide receiver, but don't want him to be number 8 pick. But behind the scenes, the Carolina Panthers, he might be sitting right up there at the top of their board. And when it gets to number 8 and he's still there, they might break their necks trying to turn that card in and get that pick to the podium and go ahead and get him in the Carolina blue. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, now I know now I know. I don't want none of that smoke. Earl said, I'll be here for the first night. I'm going out of town. Got you. I got you. I got you. And I appreciate you. But yeah, I will be here chilling. Like I said, and it'll be a good live for me. Not sitting here bringing up no topics. I ain't bringing up no slides. I'm going to sit here. I'll probably put my camera on the other monitor here, and I'm just going to be turning with my feet up, watching the TV here, and then typing and engaging everybody in the chat. But it should be a good night. It should be I hope and pray that it is a good night for the Carolina Panthers. All right. Solar Biscuit, what's going on? Trading back and getting Immanwari would be good. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. Panther Boy said trade back to 18 with Seattle. Okay. All right. And like I said, and we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. They are open to, all the possibilities of picking at number 8, trading back. Dan Morgan said that they are prepared for numerous, and I mean numerous scenarios of who picked before them, who isn't picked before them. And I think they got it all set up. It's like, okay, it's kind of like an if table or whatnot. If this happens, we do this. If this doesn't happen, we do that. If this does happen, we go this way. So we'll see. We'll see. Let me see. Panther Boy agrees with your Solar Biscuit. Vietnam says, I think day 2 or 3 would be historical for us. I hope so. I hope so. Because I don't think, keyword think, I don't think the Panthers are really going to, mess up their first round pick. All right. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they got a lot of ways to go. And I'm mad I said that just now. Now I'm thinking about it. But, I don't believe they'll mess up the first pick. Okay. But when it comes to, the second round, the third round and all of that, yeah. I honestly do believe that, like you said, Vietnam, hopefully it will be historical because you want to start it out of the first round. Okay. You draft him in the first round, you draft him for a starter. No matter if you draft him at 1, you draft him at 32. You want a starter. Okay. Hopefully our second round, third round, and I'm shooting for, hopefully we get a starter out of each of the first 4 rounds of the draft. We got 2 4th-round picks. I hope one of those 2 4th-round picks become a starter. It would be great if both of them would be starters. Okay. But I'm hoping rounds 1, 2, and 3 will be starters and praying that, we can get a starter or 2 out of the 2 4th-round picks. And I know that I've been saying this for a long time. We may not have 2 4th-round picks. We may not have 3 5th-round picks because I do believe that there will be some trading done by Dan Morgan. Now, mind you, I was thinking of a scenario earlier where if they didn't trade the first round pick, okay, they picked whoever, Ted, Jalen Walker, whoever, okay. But just say the Panthers want to move up in the second round once we get down there. All right. Now, what does that look like? Now you're going to be giving up picks because if you want to try and jump up in the second round, in my opinion, you're going to be looking at giving a, possibly a third, maybe a 4th, or you get like a 4th, a 5th, and, maybe like a future pick from next year's draft. Now that second round is going to be kind of finicky because I do think if they don't trade up as part of a trade in the first round, to acquire somebody's higher second round pick, if they do it, after the first round is over, then we're going to be losing some draft picks. Okay. But yeah, but we'll see. All right. Vietnam says day 1 will probably be mid, most likely useless, most likely unless we trade up. Yeah. Well, no, I let me tell you now that would be out of left field for me if the Panthers end up trading up. Okay. I highly doubt they trade up. If they'll trade down, in my opinion, if anything. Okay. Miss Sunky Dory says, I make sure I got my 7.99 most bestest pepperoni from 7.99. I'm sorry. 7.99 most bestest pepperoni from Little Caesars on the 24th. I think any draft in the top 25 is great for us, and we have 8 other picks. So much talent in the second, third, and fourth rounds. Okay, I got you, Mr. Hunky Dory. I got you. Jamie Harris, how you doing? Trade back to 15, take Matthew Golden, then with the first second round to take Princely, and then with the second round pick, take Kennard from South Carolina. Okay, I got you. I got you. Let me see who has pick 15. That would be the Falcons. Okay. The Falcons have pick 15. I got you. I got you. Panther Boy says, yep, maybe the 5th, 6th, and 7th too at Jamie Harris. I got you. Okay, I got you. So my bad, I was applying to Mr. Hunky Dory. Okay, got you. Ice Bryce, what's going on? Is something to think about why the Panthers bringing in all these second round rated edge for 30 visits. Tet might be the pick. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I always say. We do not know. We do not know what they're thinking about. We don't know. Tet McMillan may very well be the pick. But if that's the case, I hope the Panthers do all the homework, you get all the information they can on the rest of these draft picks, especially at the edge spot, because like I said, we need some talent. You know, we need some young talent at the edge spot that can come in and get pressure on the quarterback. Okay, because now mind you, if we somehow improve our run defense but still can't get any pressure on the quarterback, we're still giving that quarterback time to sit there and pick our defense apart. Okay, we might be better at stopping the run, but if they got all day to sit back there and throw, we're still shooting ourselves in the foot again, in my opinion. But we'll see. Hey, and shout out to Fayette9 for the $10 super chat, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love the interaction with the chat and the content, CJ. Your show is above and beyond a lot of these other shows. I appreciate you. I thank you. Hey, but you know what? But shout out to all the other content creators out there, Panther content creators too. Man, y'all make sure y'all go check everybody out. And I do appreciate your comment, Vietnam. I swear I do. But you know, one thing I realized that we all have our own opinions. We all have our different ways, you know, of doing things. You know, some of us calm, some of us like talk shit all day. But you know, at the end of the day, it's a good group of people, man. It's a good group of people. You know, even that dude over there, what's up, Doug? I kind of like him too. He's all right. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out too. Tell him I sent you. All right. But thank you, Vietnam, man. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me see. Panther Boy says Ted, maybe not, LOL. Miss Hunky Dory, in 2020, the Minnesota Vikings had 15. God dang, 15 picks? Ooh, Lord have mercy. Now I wonder how many did they end up with? I gotta go look that up. That's interesting, Miss Hunky Dory. What's up, Doug says, at Vietnam, that is a fact, even though he forgetting a lot tonight. Man, I ain't forget a lot. I just forgot that. Let me tell you, I had a comment and it was one topic that I was trying to think of that I thought of right before we went live, and I did not write it down. So, okay, I got you, Doug. Panther Boy said, always is, and I'm glad CJ is back in the front office. Yeah, man. Hey, I'm glad to be here, dog. Glad to be here. Ice Bryce, I don't care who they just want them to make the right pick, someone who produces day one. And I think as Panther fans, that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for. Whoever it is, whether it's wide receiver, defensive back, edge rusher, defensive lineman, linebacker, whoever, just make sure, you know, we hope the Panthers do their homework and bring somebody in, you know, that can compete, you know, and that can produce and give us results first snap of the season. All right. He said, oh, really? Let me take my comment back there. Oh, that's it. Well, what's up, Doug? When this live is over. Oh man, hey, y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. Miss Hunky Dory, Ice Bryce, exactly. Said, I don't care. I can't even pronounce their name. Hey, let me say, you know me. You know me. I'm up here messing up names left and damn right, dog. Left and right. We get one of these guys in here, and I'm gonna sit here for 2 hours a day going over pronunciations of their names, so I can make sure I get it right on when I get on live from here on out. Vietnam says Mike Green going to be a problem if we can get him. You know what? I think Mike Green might be a good pick. And everybody says that, you know, the conference that Marshall played in, and Can't think of it off the top of my head, the competition level in that conference. My thing is, hey, the man produced. The man produced, and I think he flew relatively under the radar until the Senior Bowl practice. And then that's when you heard everybody talk about Mike Green, and that light went off and he shot straight up everybody's draft boards. All right. So we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, man, but that's all I got for everybody tonight. Hold on, let me see. Miss Hunky Dory says, remember the old days we had names like Bob, Rob, John, John. Hey, those, but you know what though? A lot of it isn't the first name. A lot of it is the last name. I can do the first names. It's the last names that be getting me. Like Nick, Emmanuel, even though I got that one down pat, but Princely, whatever his last name is, then you got I was about to say Femi Oladajo, but his first and last name kind of tripped me up too. So we'll see. Let me see. Vietnam said production is better than traits and potential. Okay. Okay. Well, I hope that there is production with the possibility of them having traits and potential that the Panthers can bring in and get more out of their potential. Okay. Hopefully, we can, the production is there, but they also have room to grow. All right. Cause you don't want to be somebody like, okay, well, this is the best I got out of the gate, and that's it. Now, mind you, if he come in here and get us 10, 15 sacks a year, I think everybody would be, hella pleased with that, but if somebody there, that doesn't have the production, cause I say this a lot. You have a lot of players that don't have the production in college, but you have traits and potential that when they get to the NFL and they get the right coaching staff, the right position coach, the right people around them that can get that production out of those traits and potential, then you have yourself something there, So I wouldn't necessarily knock traits and potential like that. But there are a lot of people that don't necessarily, their stats don't jump off the screen at you and, just knock you upside the head. But they get to the NFL and then they turn out, to be decent, dare I say, great players. So we'll see. We'll see. Panther Boy said, yep, definitely will be when we do get the mean green QB sacking machine 15. I feel you. If Mike Green is the pick, I hope he can come in and produce just like he did at Marshall. And that'll be a great day for me. All right. But again, y'all, that's all I got for you today. If you joined late, I did we talked about Dan Morgan and the Panthers staying at number 8 or trading back, if that's still an option. We talked about what do y'all want that trade back to look like. I said I want at least a second rounder that is in the 40s. All right. And I don't want them to trade back no further than maybe say like 15 or so. All right. That was my take on it. We also did a couple mock drafts trying to use only the Panthers, only the players that had top 30 visits with the Carolina Panthers. Okay. And I promise you, I did like 7 or 8 of these the other day and it came a lot easier than it did tonight. PFF was looking at me like, oh, you doing this again? Oh, okay. We're going to get you tonight. You live in front of everybody. Oh yeah, we got you. But yeah. But I think there was some interesting drafts. Okay, some good picks in there, and the bottom of my drafts were pretty much the same. But a little bit of variety. Okay, I took Walter Nolan at number 8 on one, Ted McMillan at number 8 on one, and Jalen Walker at number 8 on the other one. All right, and then we just been sitting here discussing draft picks and traits and all kind of good stuff. All right, but yeah, and Vietnam says Mingo had the traits and potential, but no production. Same for TMJ. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I got you. I'm not even gonna disagree with you on that one. I ain't gonna disagree with you on that one. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. But again, they both of them were probably mismanaged by the staff that was here. So we'll see. And as you can see, they're both gone now. So, but yeah, I got you, Vietnam. I got you. All right, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening and probably get an earful from the beautiful lady on the other side of this wall in front of me. But yeah, man, hey, y'all make sure if you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. You can catch me on all social media at ArmchairGMCJ. I appreciate all the love and support. Thank you for everybody for the super chats. Thank you for Will for becoming a member. Welcome to the front office, Will. I greatly appreciate all the love and support. All right. Y'all can catch me again this Saturday. I'll probably go live at the same time, maybe around 10:30 or 11 o'clock. We'll do another mock draft and come up with some more topics to talk about before the draft. Okay. Next Wednesday, I plan on going live as usual and try to put together, like a final draft. Like I said, if I was the actual GM of the Carolina Panthers, this is what I would do. Okay. But again, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate you. And as always, Panther Nation, I'm going to leave y'all with 3 things. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And number 3, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man. Holla at your boy.